All right, what is up, guys? If you do not know me, my name is Dylan Haugen, and I am a 5'10", 16-year-old dunker with a 41.5-inch vertical. Today, I'm going to be talking about what I would do if I had to start over in my dunk journey, if I could go back to when I was just starting, what I would do, what I wouldn't do, and just everything to get back to this point and be better than I am right now. So, taking it all the way back, my first dunk that I got, I was 5'8", 13 years old, as you can see in this video here. When I was 15 years old, I got my first East Bay. And now I am consistently East Baying, doing tons of new trick dunks. And I obviously recorded a 41.5-inch vertical last week. So I've improved a ton, and the funny thing is, though, is that I would change a lot if I were to go all the way back. So I'm going to get started way back when I was first starting to get into dunking. I'll just give you guys a little backstory. Basically, I was a kid who loved basketball, but I really loved dunking. And how I would practice basketball, instead of practicing like a normal person would practice basketball on a 10-foot hoop, I would just practice on 7.5 because it was very fun. I could pretend to be my favorite NBA players. I could do all these dunks, and I was not good at all, but it was just very fun for me. And what I was doing that I didn't realize was I was increasing my vertical when I was even 10 years old, 11 years old, dunking on 7.5. And one thing that a lot of people do not realize is that period where I was literally just messing around and dunking on 7.5 was one of the most beneficial things that I could have ever done. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that what I was doing, I did not realize it, but it was the base for everything that I have now. And that is what I recommend everyone to do, is if you are a young kid or if you're older, it doesn't even matter. The best thing that you can do to get better at the thing you want to get better at, and this applies to everything, is doing that thing. If you want to shoot better, if you want to shoot threes better, you shoot. Like, you don't go and you buy these like extra gadgets, you don't buy some special insoles, you just go and shoot. So, and that is something that I'm glad that I did, but I didn't realize it until later on. So the first major point I want to make is max jumping as often as possible, as young as possible. So, I mean, there's a ton of things to build off of it. We'll just start with that. Max jumping was something that I did when I was really young. I mean, I have tons of videos of me jumping as a kid. Yeah, it's just a lot of fun. And I think a lot of parents especially discourage it. Mine fortunately didn't. And they just think like, oh, well, if you want to be getting better at basketball, you should be playing on a regulation hoop. But when the kid's 10 years old, like, you can barely even get the ball up to the hoop. One of the most beneficial and fun things that they can do is play on a low rim, whether it's on, a hoop on their door or just an adjustable rim. It's so fun, and it gets just everyone has fun with it. And some people think it's stupid. I would highly disagree. Even now, I am 16 years old. I play high school basketball, and I still dunk on low rims like once a week. And it has helped me. Now I don't necessarily do it for the vertical. It does help my vertical, but I more just do it for the trick dunk aspect of it. So there is a place for low rims in every stage of dunking. Even like the pro dunkers, maybe they don't necessarily do like an 8-foot rim session, but they might do a 9.9 session or 9.8 session. Even some of them do like 9-foot sessions. So that is my first point, is max approach, max effort jumping as often as possible. The reason I say as often as possible, we will get into it on number 3. But the second thing that I would encourage is study jump technique and learn what your jump preference is, and then obviously go off of that and learn how to execute it properly. When I first started jumping, I did all sorts of plants. Like in my older videos, you'll see like I didn't even know that I was doing different plants. I was just jumping because, again, I was playing basketball. In basketball, you don't necessarily like get to pick what plant you're doing because everything is a quick decision and you have someone guarding you. I mean, I just did left, right, right, left, 1 foot, left foot, right foot, everything. And if you don't know what those are, I encourage you to do some research. Isaiah Rivera has a ton of videos on it. There's stuff everywhere. So learn what your jump plant is number 1. Number 2 is find people that have the same jump plant as you and study their technique and then try to slowly implement it into your own. So for me, for example, I am a left-right jumper. I jump off a 2-foot left-right approach. So people that I would study would be Jordan Kilgannon and Isaiah Rivera. Those are 2 of the best jumpers in the world, and they're both left-right. And so what I do quite often is I take videos of me jumping and I compare them to videos of Isaiah and Jordan jumping. And I look at like the super minute details like arm swing, everything about the technique, and I just try to mimic it in my jumps as much as possible. That is something that I did not do as a young kid, and I wish I would have done because I was just having fun with it. Obviously, having fun with it, especially at a young age, I think is one of the most important things. But if I would have studied technique and got my technique really good as a really young kid, then I wouldn't have had to do as much work later on. One thing that we see very often in the jump community is that there will be dunkers that jump very high, but they have like very weird technique, or not necessarily weird, but just different. It depends on what works best for you. But when you're young, I would just say study everybody, see what works best for you, and then obviously try to implement it in your own. And that, coupled with number one, what we said, which was max effort, max approach jumping, is going to get you jumping higher insanely fast. It just works the muscles that are needed to jump higher, and doing that at a young age is one of the most beneficial things you can do. Moving on to number three, one thing that I mentioned earlier was jumping as much as possible. The reason I say as much as possible is because injuries happen even at a young age. You can't necessarily just push your body to the limit every single day. And when you do that, injuries are going to come along, which is okay, but you need to know how to handle them. And that is something that I did not know about at all until like last year. So one thing that you can do every single day, 3 times a day, that is going to decrease your risk of injuries, especially in your knees, is isometrics. So things like leg extension holds, like, going like this, pushing your leg out, reverse Nordic isos, all those things. If you have knee pain, figure out what type of knee pain you have and find the isometric that is coupled with it to help the pain go away and get better. Also, like if I was young again, like really young again, like 10 or 11 years old, I would be doing isometrics just to generally strengthen the tendon so that I wouldn't have to deal with knee pain like I do right now. Another thing, number 4, that I actually did and I was very lucky to have done was learning the technique for lifting at a young age. My lifting technique isn't perfect, but the same as my jump technique, like I said, learning it at a young age takes away all of the work that you'd have to do later. Same thing goes for lifting technique. Lifting is one of the most important things you can do to increase your force output, which obviously increases how high you can jump. So learning lifting technique at a young age is going to be super beneficial. Squats, deadlifts, power cleans, all that stuff is super helpful, and I was lucky to have a personal trainer at a young age. Taught me how to do power cleans, squats, all that. And again, I'm still not perfect with these lifts, but I think that because I did that, my lifting is insanely better than it could have been. The 5th and final thing that I will recommend before I just go on to like a general discussion is finding yourself a coach or program that works best for you. Last October, I joined forces with Jump X, which is a coaching service based out of Australia. Tom Barnes and Austin Young are the main coaches, and then they got Brody Stevens, if you don't know who that is. Very good professional dunker. He helps with like technique and stuff, and I've been doing that with them for since October, and since then I've gotten insanely stronger. My vertical has gone up 4 inches, obviously, and I've just gotten better overall. So I think that finding a coach or program that works well for you is going to be very beneficial. It helps you periodize your training. It helps you peak at the right times. I would say that coaching is definitely the best option because it's personalized to you and your schedule. For example, like I have basketball, high school basketball, and I cannot always just kind of like fit my program around me. So that is what the coaches are for, and they obviously help with that a lot. But yeah, if you're interested in hopping on JumpX, shoot me a message on Instagram or message Tom Barnes or Austin Young. We can get you going very fast and yeah, just get you jumping higher quick. Number 6, which is more of just a quick tip, is stay consistent and trust the process. There are times where jumping and dunking is super fun, especially when you're a beginner. You can basically do anything and your vertical will go up. Like I said, just jumping every day will make your vertical go up. But there are times where you will plateau, especially like if you're just jumping. Eventually you might have to just start lifting too to increase performance. And so there are times that are super fun and there are times where it feels like you're not getting better. Trust the process, keep working, keep being consistent, keep jumping, and it'll all happen eventually. You just gotta trust it and you gotta stay consistent. To kind of summarize, we're just gonna go back and talk about my experience and what I think would have changed if I would have done some of these things. So I started low rimming when I was probably 10 or 11 years old. I don't know what would have happened if I would have started low rimming earlier than that, to be honest. But like around that time, 10 or 11 years old, I did not have good jump technique. And if I would have started working on my jump technique then, I think my jump technique would even be better now, which is like it's already relatively good now. But if I could have done that even earlier, I would have had to do less work and I would have been jumping higher at an earlier age, which would have helped me increase my vertical just all around. I would say the one thing that I did really well is just low rimming and dunking a lot. I dunked a lot when I was a kid. I dunk a lot now. But one thing I did not do good was prevent injuries, isometrics and stuff like that. I didn't really start doing it consistently until a year ago, and I'm still not completely consistent. So I need to be better about that still. So I would say that if I did isometrics from a younger age and I did them consistently throughout the past year, I think my vertical could definitely be around 43 right now, which is pretty insane for my age. But again, that would be like if I did everything really well. So yeah, I hope you guys found some value out of this video. If you're new, make sure to subscribe. I'm going to be trying to do a lot more educational content like this, but then also dunk sessions and all that stuff. If you guys like the longer format video with a lot more information, then make sure to check out my podcast. I will put all the links in the description. It's called The Dunk Talk. We go over topics just like this, but with a lot of other dunkers, guys like Connor Barth, Donovan Hawkins, and we have a bunch of other pros that will be on it very soon. We talk about tons of training related stuff. It's just super entertaining and informational. So definitely go make sure to check that out. Again, if you're new, make sure to subscribe. Turn on notifications because I have another video coming out very soon, which will discuss what I did to get from a 37.5-inch vertical to a 41.5-inch vertical in only a year. So again, just thank you guys for watching. If you're new, make sure to subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.